have Kirby San Juan. Can you hear us, Kirby? I haven't heard from Kirby yet. If you don't have a microphone, you can also open up the chat that's there at the bottom, and you can type questions or comments in, and we will follow those along. If that's okay. So there's from Kirby. Perfect. All right. So I know that there's some more that we're supposed to get going, but we are even a little bit past time, so I think we should just get started if that's okay with everybody. Welcome. This is Brad Parker.
Hello.
Brad and I work on the training together here at SureFi, and today we want to talk about some of the things that are new, some of the things that are new applications of some of the things, and what's being developed. You know, we're not going into deep dark secrets or anything, but there's a lot of new things that have been going on, and we can chat about them, and would love to get your questions and feedback. If you have any, we'd love to hear from you. So without further ado, you probably noticed that we've got the SureFi Relay low voltage information right up on the share screen. Can everybody see that? That's the much fancier version of what these are. I'm going to bring these up here. That's what they look like in real life. And this gives you a one-to-multiple option so that you can have one controller and you can have up to 8 receivers that can be used in a variety of locations. Now you also have 8 channels, and these are all duplicated. So basically, this is telling 8 of these to do the exact same thing. Now, a lot of times you're like, well, I don't want to open that gate at the same time as the other gate, but you have 8 different channels that you can send out. And so you can send channel 1, relay 1 to gate 1, relay 2 to gate 2, and so on and so forth. So you can differentiate with the wiring, or if you want multiple things, like we're doing a fire system secondary enunciation with these, and basically he has 4 different apartment buildings all within a half a mile of each other. The SureFi unit can send it in between just fine. So he's using one of these to 4 of the receivers, and he's sending out the alarm so that all the buildings will alarm at the same time no matter where it's triggered. He's sending out a reset relay, and then coming back from all those locations is the alarm trigger when it happens. So if building 3 is where the alarm is, building 1, 2, and 4 will also trigger, because it's sending it back to the main fire panel, sending it out, and so that's a secondary enunciation, and you could do it with up to 8 buildings, or like we did it in Irving. You want to tell them about the Irving install?
Yeah, so
we used multiples.
So in Irving, we were at a HOA, and they wanted the fire department wanted to come up to a Knox box, and just with one turn of a key or a button inside of the Knox box wanted to open up all of the gates and all of the doors on the property. And so we used our 1 to 8, and we actually had to wire them multiple places, piggybacked them off of each other, and we were able to get all of the doors on all of the locations. So all the emergency fire marshal or emergency personnel had to do is come up, one switch on one box, and it unlocked every door and every gate on the property.
And the same thing would work for like a click to enter, a siren, triggering a siren. But so the concept is there's a lot of different things, and on that unit or on that install, we had 27 of the units. So we used, I think it was 4 one-to-multiple systems, connected all these all together with a single one, and made it so that you could do all 27 locations. So this has kind of been an exciting unit for us. This is being used in a lot of different ways. Now this, just to clarify, this does not transfer Wiegand data. These are relays only. You have 8 out and 2 back. I've used this particular unit for cabin monitoring, where you have a lot of vacation homes, and they have alarms in them that they want to know if someone's inside, or if there's water or temperature drop or whatever. They can send that relay, alarm relay, down to the center location which has Wi-Fi or whatever, and then they can say, hey, you know, cabin 12 over there, or Bob's cabin or whatever has something going on with it. We can either go check it or send a message to Bob and tell him to come up and check it. So a lot of interesting things going on with this unit. What are some of the things you're thinking about that could be used with a one-to-multiple application like this? Glenn, what do you think? You know the industry, been around a long time.
Well, I'm trying to put it in the context of a customer. Being a factory guy, we refer customers needing answers to solutions. We refer them to you guys all the time. We'll send them to our CPSG counterparts to make a purchase. I can think of several things. Given that the radio part is very robust, and if you need to get a signal from point A to point B, this kind of does that. I know, I think Michael Brooks, he's another person that's been in there for a long time. He had an application showing this very thing. He had one, kind of central unit that was having control send out to multiple locations. I just can't draw any recent experience that's relevant to that question.
No, that's good.
What I've heard from others.
Okay. Fabricio or Kirby, anything come to mind? You're like, hey, I'll give you an example while you're thinking. This is one that would allow you to connect to, for example, I think what we've done recently, we did a guard shack. So we had a place that had 2 guard shacks, a large HOA, and they had 4 buttons on each one to control all of the gates. There are 4 gates around, but they wanted to be able to open it from either guard shack to open any of the gates. So we ended up using one pair of these to go from one shack to the next, and then doubled up on the Rexit buttons, and then sent those out to the 4 gates from the single shack. And the single shack was also more centrally located, so it meant that we would have an easier time shooting it the mile across this enormous HOA. So just an example of the way that the low voltage one-to-multiple wireless bridge has been used. And we could have done 8 gates if we'd wanted to, but in this case, you only needed 4. So Fabricio, you have a thought?
No, I was thinking the same. For example, if you have to operate, for example, some pumps, and you need to start them all the time together, it could be very good for that.
That's a great idea. I didn't even think about that one. So you have an area that has multiple sump pumps, and one triggers. You want all of them to start moving that water out. That's a great idea, and you can have them all essentially. They'd all have a single unit. If any of them trigger, it turns them all on. That's exactly what they were doing with the fire. So great example, Fabricio. Thank you. And Kirby tells everyone on the chat, thanks for these ideas. I'm going to take that one, Fabricio. Now, do you have, buildings that have a high water table, even things like, where we're sitting here today, we have some enormous buildings in this area, and this has a relatively low water table. I'm sure they have multiple sump pumps put in this thing. I'm gonna have to go wander around. That's a great idea, Fabricio. Thank you. Other thoughts? Okay, well, let me share just a couple of real quick, interesting concepts about this. Being able to send 2 back. I actually had a situation like this down in Mexico that they wanted this, and basically they had an area. This was a large, it was in, I'm trying to remember if it was in Juarez or if it was in Mexico City. I think it was in Juarez. Anyway, this was a large HOA and basically a retirement community, but they didn't have great cell reception because it was built on the sides of kind of a canyon. And so what they did is, as part of the selling of the HOA to people, was they said, we will give you 24-hour service if you have an emergency. because a lot of people, their cell phones wouldn't work at their homes. So what they did is they took this and they put this back at the center point, and they put this in every home with an emergency button. And so they basically hit an emergency, it rang the emergency alarm back at the main button, then they went in to see where it came from. So,
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I could see
Yeah.
that being used in like retirement homes or assisted living centers as well, where people have a call button or need assistance button, like in a hospital, like hospital beds, things like that, where it needed to be wireless.
yeah.
Kind of that same kind of situation.
Yeah, it's a great idea, actually. The ideas are coming, you know, I
Yeah.
wouldn't have thought of that one, but, you know, his wife actually works in a care center, and that way the who was on call could actually carry this one around with them no matter where they are in the facility. They could call and talk to that person who's on call, or even if they were on the grounds or if they had multiple buildings, you could have that connected. You could have one go to the one that's on the person or on their cart
Yeah.
or whatever, and another one go to a main office or something. So, yeah, great ideas. So, anyway, lots of things that we could do with that. This is a fairly new one, and I think was it this week or last week that this was released?
Yeah, it's been a week or
It's
two.
been-
I can't remember now, but it's recent. Pablo, our guy that works with us here, he was thinking about using it for sprinkler systems
Mhm.
out in like a golf course or something where it might be hard to run a relay cable, or where the cable might have got compromised, and they needed to repair that wire, not knowing where that was. Put one of these out there for controlling some of the valves.
Yeah, one of the nice things about this is it'll run on 10 to 30 volts AC or DC, and so that means that, you know, a sprinkler system is 24 volts AC. Well, this can use 24 volts AC. A sprinkler, you know, a lot of things are 12 volt DC access control. Some of the access control is 24 volt DC. This can do all of that. And so you don't have to worry about trying to change the power to use a SureFi. So good examples. All right. Something else that we were discussing is that we wanted to talk about was our compact door kit. Now, we mentioned it last month, but we hadn't been out installing it on a lot of places yet. And we've had some orders and quite a few people installing. Basically, I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm going to tip that down. There's the compact door kit, and we're going to find a picture of it. We can find the picture of it in our thing. Basically, the compact door kit allows you to connect. Well, let me back up just a little bit. The source of this inspiration was an installer. And he said, you know, I love the SureFi. It takes, you know, he was installing at a school this day, and I was out on the installation with him. He said, I love the SureFi, but the problem I have is that sometimes I still have to run the power wire 100 feet from another hall, because all they have in this hall is the line to the emergency lights. So he said, you know, and that's one of the challenges, is he said, I love that I don't have to run control wire, but I still have to run, you know, power wire a long way. So he and I were talking, and we talked to some other engineers, and we talked to some fire people, and we developed the door kit. Now this one's nice because it's very small, and we're going to show you a video of someone who installed these. But basically what happens is you can have any power, 110, 220, 277, any of those powers can be used by our power supply. Turns it into 12 volts, 5 amps. And it also allows you to it's small. You can see this one's only 8 inches by 10 inches by 4 inches. You can throw it up on the wall and it's very small, or you can throw it in a drop ceiling and it just disappears easily. And it's included with the weekend bridge, and you have battery backup here. So anywhere that you want to do a commercial door that already has an exit sign or an always on light right at the exit, you can tie this into it, and then it has its own battery backup if the power goes out, and so it doesn't compromise your emergency system. It has the wiring right here, you can see on your screen as well. And so using this, and if you don't have to do the power or the control wire, you can just pop this in. Most of the guys I'm seeing, this goes in about 15 minutes. It takes maybe 30 to 45 minutes to wire up the card reader and the door strike, and they're out of the door in less than an hour. So, and this is very competitively priced. Well, basically the way we did the pricing structure on this is the price of the SureFi plus just parts on the box. So, the SureFi is a little less than 3.5. The parts in the box, I think the whole thing ends up about being $430 or something like that. Oh, don't quote me exactly, but it's within a few dollars of that. So, you can't, I know that you guys could build this on your own, but considering the fact that we've sourced the power supplies, we have everything put together easily for you, the Wagos are there, being able to buy this for the same price that it would cost you to build it, and you have no time, really makes a lot of sense to be able to basically get SureFis in there, no control wire, no power wire. So what are your thoughts? What are your comments? Kick that back up so you can see us.
This is the Wiegand bridge, right?
This is the Wiegand bridge, Glenn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And I imagine there's some sort of switching power supply, so you've got that wide range of input voltages. That's definitely a plus for a lot of guys in the field.
Yeah, being able to just keep this little box, run into the back of your truck. You have everything in there you need. That, you keep 3 or 4 of them. You go out on a job, that it's only going to take you this much time to wire it up and so that takes away the question mark. When you're out there doing the bid, you're like, okay, I know what my parts are going to cost, but what about my time? You know exactly how long it takes to wire this, so that question goes away and you don't get upside down on a job and lose money on it. Fabricio, what are you thinking?
No, I was thinking the same. Yeah, it looks very good. And people like to have it ready just to install.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of the installers that I've talked to, a lot of them are purchasing their own boxes. They're finding their own power supplies, and then having to wire up the wires to plug in the backup batteries.
It doesn't look very good.
Running wires, things like that, and they just kind of toss it in the box. They may tape or put DIN rail on for the SureFi unit, but everything's kind of tossed in there. The power supply, the battery, just kind of maybe a little more swampus. And I know a lot of people are like, hey, I want something that'll look good. It's got my name on it, my company, and to buy something like this off the shelf where it has a power supply and it looks really nice and neat and cluster free, rat nest free, so to speak. It's just something they'd say, I buy it from you guys from the same price. And they're like, I'll buy those instead of just the normal Wiegand, because it comes with the Wiegand. And that way it has everything they need for the job.
Yeah. One thing that's nice to remember is that the SureFi will do all the charging. So you don't need a separate charger for your battery. You just throw in a 5 amp hour, 7 amp hour, whatever battery into it, and all the charging is done. I've also talked to other guys that they'll go out and they'll have a power supply. They think everything's 110, then they'll get to a section and it's running 277. Like, well, crap, I don't have a 277 power supply. But this doesn't matter what kind of power you have, it's still going to work. So now, Kirby, haven't heard from you for a while. I'm looking for my chat box. I don't know where it went. So we can swap the Wiegand with the other models. Oh, are you talking about the other type of SureFi units, Kirby? Okay, yes. If you want to use a low voltage instead, you can either order this up with the Wiegand and use Wiegand for something else, or you can contact us and say, I need one with low voltage. We'll put together one and send it out low voltage for you, or whatever else you need. So yeah, great question. And that I didn't cover. So we probably ought to make sure that that's in our stuff that we're covering. So
yeah,
great comment and good question, Kirby. Other thoughts about this one? Let me show you a video of somebody installing this that we did a few weeks ago, and you can kind of see how they used it. That installer talks more about it, and then you can give us your thoughts. Now, for those who don't know, this is the small one. We have a larger one that does the exact same thing, but also does 24 volt. and can do 1 or 2 doors. So if you have doors with 24 volt crash bars or electrified handles that need 24 volt, the other version would also be available. So, all right, let's take a look at this short video.
Here at Green River High School, one of SureFi's newest products is being installed. Brian Christensen with Superior Security Services is installing the SureFi 12-volt compact door kit. This differs from our standard commercial door kit in that it does not provide the 24-volt accessory power. As you can see, the compact door kit is substantially smaller, can be used in tighter spaces, and is more discreet and lightweight when only 12-volt power is needed. It includes a single door SureFi bridge as well as a 5-amp power supply and 12-volt battery monitoring built in.
So today we used a compact door controller. This is the first time I've used this controller. Normally I've been using the standard footprint of the commercial door controller. And in this particular application, the compact was really useful because I had a small area that I needed to get this controller in, and it worked out very well. We had concrete ceiling and grouted frames. So in this application, the door controller just was spot on. So what we did with this one is, what I really liked about it is the footprint, and also I'm utilizing many of the relays. I'm using door position switches, EPSs, and I'm also using an alarm. So what that's really doing for us is that if the door is propped, it's going to go into an alarm. And what's been helpful is I really like using the app. It was really great for me to kind of figure out what's going on locally before I go to head in and resolve and eliminate any problems. What I like to do is I like to pull the app up on every door, and I simply can just test relay 1, or my door locks. So I know that they're working. I know the power's being sent to the locks. I know the locks are wired in properly. And then on relay 2, I have it on the top door alarm. So what's going to happen in that scenario, if the door is propped for more than 30 seconds, it's going to go into an alarm, and the alarm will continue to run as long as the doors are open. So long story short, the compact door controller was a huge success for me today. What I like about this door controller is it made it really easy for me to install my conduit. With the other type of enclosures out there, metal knockouts, what this box gave me a lot of flexibility to put my conduit wherever it landed. So as you can see here, I have several different boxes on the wall and conduit in different places. This enclosure not only allows me to have my weekend bridge in here, but I'm also using, this is where I'm storing my prop door alarm. And it leaves me room also for my battery backup. Closes up real nice, really pleasing to the eye, and the customers can be very happy with it.
The installation of the compact door kit is very simple. You first remove the screws holding the flash cover, then tip the flash cover up, giving access to the power supply and the Wago connectors provided. For easy connection of any local or emergency power from 110 to 277 AC. Always check your local guidelines. Then replace the flash cover, wire in your accessories onto the labeled terminal block, plug in a 12-volt battery, and you're finished. The SureFi Compact Door Kit, the easy way to get doors done.
Okay. So just an example of somebody installing one. Did you have any other questions or ideas that came to mind? Kirby says NEMA rating on the box. Yes, it's NEMA 4 rated, and so you can use it inside, outside. Trying to remember what else there was. There was something that's UL listed as well. Yeah. Anyway, NEMA 4 rated on the box, and all the items inside are UL listed. This is a UL listed box. So, other questions? Fabricio, having thoughts about when this could be used?
No. In fact, here in Costa Rica, we have done some projects just like that, and it works. It works. It really works.
Good. Yeah, and here's the thing. You guys can build these just as well as we can. And so if you guys have the ability to build them, that's great, or have the time. But if you don't, then you could order one up and get it to come in. So It's just the idea of getting a battery backup so you can tie into the emergency power that makes life easier. So, all right.
Not having to source the parts from many different places. Just,
Yeah, it took us a long time to find the right kinds of things to fit it all in the box. And so if you are sitting there going, man, how am I going to get all this in?
yeah, instead of going in the Amazon or whatever and trying to find a bunch of different parts and pieces, you know, just order it from one spot and have it done.
So, all right. Oh, let's go over the rat
All right.
tool. So
Yeah.
we're just basically talking about new developments. While he's getting that, I'll tell you a little bit about some of our fire stuff we've been doing. We are going to be, we're developing right now an emergency egress kit, because according to the, the fire regulations in the United States, if you have a mag lock on a door, when the fire alarm goes off, that fire alarm or that fire panel has to be able to trigger the door and release the mag lock, right? So what happens is that sometimes you have states adopting new things, and they change those things often. So anyway, long story short, we are working on doing a emergency egress kit that would be 4 fire panels to connect to those maglock doors, so they don't have to wire any of it. So anyway, we'll get back with you with more information on that as we know.
All right. So this is our retrofit assessment tool. And
I don't know that they've even seen that one. I'm going to back this up if that's okay, while
okay,
he
so
talks about it.
So what this tool does, or what it's for, is if you are doing a job site walk or looking at bidding an existing system or upgrading an existing system that is wired, that does not have the SureFi in it, you can take this rat tool and you can wire it into the system, either at the controller or at keypads, and it can just help you identify kind of what's going on in that system. If you maybe there's a keypad there that you don't recognize, or a controller that you're not familiar with, you can wire this in, and you can see what the Wiegand protocol is. You can send and receive Wiegand data. You can test the line voltage, and you can even hook it up and test the relays. Make sure that the relays aren't working. Make sure that it's not the controller, or that if any of the accessories are working or not working. It just kind of helps you troubleshoot a traditional wired system.
It'll also tell you your bit rates from keypads, see what it's sending out, see what kind of, sometimes you might have a situation where it's not communicating, and maybe the keypad set at the wrong bit rate, and you can stick this on there and tell.
Yep. So as we were talking to some of the installers that we were showing this to, they were thinking that it would be nice if we would supply kind of a wiring harness for them. And they found that it was kind of hard or time consuming to try and wire and unwire in our little terminal block. And so what we did was we found some of these.
And that's where the Wiegand in and Wiegand out.
Yeah, that's where the Wiegand in and Wiegand out for the terminal block. And so what we did was we found, sourced these wire piercing probes. And so from behind the keypad, right by the controller, you don't have to unhook anything. You just get these wire piercing probes and pierce the insulation, and you can go in and hook these probes right on to the wires to be able to read that Wiegand data or look at those relays.
You don't have to unwrap anything.
You don't have to unwrap anything. We've tried to make the wire long enough that you can set the, we call it the rat tool. We can set the rat tool down, hook up the wires, and then you can use the app to see all of the data and do everything you need to with the rat tool. Now, if you have one of the SureFi units, it has a lot of these things built right into it. And so you use our app to be able to see all the data, see the Wiegand code. And so whether you're using the rat tool, you can see that data, or whether you're using one of the Wiegand bridges, you can also use our app to see that information.
And in both instances, you can push Wiegand data too, to test if your card is in the system, or is the card I'm swiping coming through correctly, or what is the number for the card because it's worn down, you can't read it anymore. Like you guys, you know that happens, so. All right, from Kirby. issue if overheated and used in warm environment? No, and in fact, this is actually part of one of the videos I did this week. We were talking about using these units down in Las Vegas, and a guy had it in there, and he said that some of those boxes he had it in is 150, 160 degrees, and that he's not having any problem with SureFi, which creates problems for even the soldering sometimes, but the SureFi is held together. So there's very little heat coming off of the power source in there. In fact, we've had these connected into a lot of different places. No problem with heat in them. So great question, Kirby. Just trying to spit that out. So what other questions do you have about what SureFi is doing? Any issues that you're running into? We're just talking about a few new things here, but we love to hear from you guys. Do you have questions about how to hook anything up? Do you have questions about if this could be used for that, or what are you thinking? What are your questions on your mind?
So one immediate on my mind, Glenn, here is that I've been having some trouble with the app lately. That it's on both of my iPad and iPhone iOS devices. So everything comes up, I hit the button, it pairs, and then at some point it just disappears.
It's a great thing to bring that up. Brad wants to.
Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, I've talked to our app developers, and there was some Bluetooth connectivity issues that they were having. It took them a little while to figure out what was going on there. That has been pushed to Apple as of yesterday, I believe, and we're in the review process with iOS. It should be getting released from Apple. They say 24 to 48 hours. So we're hoping that will be fixed. I talked to the guys yesterday before I left. They says we've got it. We've got that fixed. We've got that patch pushed to Apple. So that iOS crashing with the Bluetooth connectivity issue should be resolved as soon as Apple releases.
Yeah, that's one of the coolest parts. I mean, I'm the manufacturer's rep, so I'm not selling these directly, but running into a site where these are present and being able to pull up on the app and see the Wiegand data going through it, and the simple ability of just being able to get a Wiegand stream developed or create a Wiegand stream from a card that, customers or residents saying, hey, when I come through, the driveway doesn't open. Trying to work with the dealer to get that resident to drive their car back out to drive through the gate sometimes is impossible. So yeah, we know their ID number. We can just punch it in and run it as if they were there. That's a huge advantage.
Very good.
And that app's been very cool.
We apologize that app struggled for the last about a week.
Yeah.
The Android app is not, and so yeah, we've got that fixed, and it's coming down the pike very soon. We both of us happen to run iOS platforms, and so we all of a sudden have the same problem that you did. So
okay, that's nice to know. It's not just me.
Yeah. Another thing that I learned from our guys writing the app is they have figured out how to get the crash data logging, and so we can see it on our end what's happening with the app. So if there are crashes that are happening out in the field, as long as the user is willing to share the crash data with developers, we'll be able to see and be able to get versions and updates and bug fixes out easier now that we can see those crash logs and the reasons why the app is acting the way it is. And so that's something that we've added to the app, is to be able to see when it's crashing, why it's crashing, and so we can get those fixes implemented quicker.
Very good.
Great, Glenn. Thank you. Fabricio, by the way, I liked your shield. That was nice. Is that new fashion?
Yeah, we have to use it here in Costa Rica.
Okay. Well, that's good. So, any thoughts? Do you have one of these retrofit assessment tools, or have you ever used the app to look at the Wiegand data?
No, we don't have the retrofit. And yes, we have the app, but and we have the tester also. But the retrofit looks good. We should have one.
I'll have to talk to EPCOM and see if they can get something rolling down there for you guys. So good deal. Kirby, Oh, that's not a new one. So anyway, just those kind of things we've been talking about. Any other issues that you're having? Any questions for us? Just a chance to talk to the guys directly, kind of at SureFi, the ones that are out doing the installations, the ones that are working through the troubleshooting and things. What else do you have?
Or do you have any suggestions for us? What do you want us to do? What do you want us to develop?
And you can't say
Any-
video because we know that's not happening yet.
And wireless power, we're not there yet either.
Yeah, we'll talk to Nicholas on that.
Those are the things they want us to do. You guys do really good at sending the signal wire. Can you do wireless power? And we can't do that yet, but you know, hopefully one day.
Someday. Okay. Anyway, what else are you guys thinking? If you guys said, I wish SureFi would do this, or I wish it would be changed, or I'm having a trouble with this part.
I know this is old, but I think, do you guys have a serial RS-232 bridge? Or
We do have an RS-232 485 bridge. And the reason we have not yet released it commercially, we've had it and installing it for over 6 months in beta testing type pre-commercial applications. The challenge that we're having with this bridge is that people expect all 485 and all 232 to be the same, to be created equal. And the trade-off with the SureFi radio, you know, it gets heavy penetration, long distance, you guys know this, but the trade-off is relatively low data. So with our settings on our radio with the max speed, it's about 8 to 10,000 bits per second. And that's fine for some applications, but not enough for others. And so to be able to stick something out there and say, this will replace RS-485 or this will replace RS-232, we need to be able to authoritatively say it works with these systems and not with these systems, right? And that's a little bit hard to get to all of them. And we've been collecting data. If you have something specific you're thinking about, Glenn, though, I have the ability to possibly get one out to you if it's something that we need to get information on, or if I know that it will work because it's something I've already tested, just contact me if you would. We'll give you all of our contact information at the end of this little chat, but so it's a great question and it's a qualified answer. And I'm sorry that it's not a slam dunk one way or the other, but that is the truth.
Yeah, the application is some of our legacy products. So the stuff that's traditionally been programmed through dial-up modems. You have a manager's office. They have an analog fax line and a computer with an old modem card in it, and they have our Versa software. And they're just pushing a name and a phone number. Not a lot of. There's no graphics. There's no video. Pushing a name to a database.
They're using the Versa.
Versa
software.
XS, yes.
Yes.
And the EL2000 SS and the EL25.
EL2000 and the EL2500.
It's just EL25.
25. Okay, so I wasn't. Okay.
They all share the same electronics. That's our legacy access control. So there's no cloud, there's no internet. It's just a dial-up. And here's the challenge that some of our customers are running into. The phone companies are flipping networks. Everything is voice over IP. So the PSTN is evolving, and some of those customers are losing that ability to dial into it. But, you know, they're still within some miles of the site. If we had a SureFi solution that dropped in place of the modem, because we do have an RS-232 port on the product, they can make the bridge using that solution.
I'm curious. I'm wondering if the control products up in Salt Lake would have some of those that we could go just drop in and do a test on.
They should. They should have something on the show.
I'll give Brian up there a call, because I think if they've got them, it's a good idea. I hadn't even considered the legacy market on that. So great suggestion.
And our competitors too. And I know they have some cellular devices that bolt on, but cellular adds, you got to pay for that monthly charge, and there's limitations to that as well. Yours is you buy it and hook it up and you're done. And use up, you get the rest of the life out of your access control and then upgrade to something later.
Yeah. Okay, well, great suggestion. Okay. Other things that you would like to know, things we're developing, things that we're looking at, questions that you're having. We'll probably wrap up here pretty soon, but Kirby says waiting for the Serial Pro. So Kirby, just like with Glenn, if you've got an application that you specifically know of, contact us and we'll get down there and we'll try to get information in there so that we can. So there's there's the Serial Pro information. I'm gonna just jump down to our contact information. There you go. So Kirby, yeah, if you'll get in contact with us and ask us and tell us what you're thinking, when you want to use that and how you want to use it, because it's been really successful in some scenarios and not successful in others, because a lot of these RS-45 systems will just pull crazy amount of data just so that, because they have a wire and they can. And the difference, the delta in it is not very much, but they're still pulling a crazy amount of data that gums up the radio going back and forth. So yeah, shoot us some information on it. We'd love to help you with it. All right. Go ahead.
One more question.
Yeah.
OSDP, so the secure protocol for card readers, is that something SureFi has been looking into?
Yes, in fact, I'll show you where we're on that.
It is one of the bridges that we are working on.
Okay, so this one is the Access Pro bridge. It's kind of an expanded Wiegand bridge, and it would include the OSDP protocol. We have seen some demand for it, though it's kind of coming slowly. I don't know if that's how you feel like it's going, but obviously certain aspects, you know, like it's self-addressing. So there are ways to do that. We also have a product that we've been using here at our own local facilities. We call it the 1-to-N, and it allows the SureFi units to be the address for the Wiegand source, and that's been kind of cool, which kind of is the hybrid of the OSDP and the Wiegand.
Right.
So anyway, yeah, we're working on it. We're expecting Q3 sometime to have something like that.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah, good question. Anything else that we can answer for you?
Got mine.
All right. Fabricio, anything before we head out?
It's okay. It's okay with me.
Okay. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us today. And once again, our contact information you should have. I'll just send it back down so you can grab it if you need to. And those are our cell phones. You can call SureFi right there at the 385 number. And now, Fabricio, do you know if you are in our Pro system yet, Fabricio and Kirby? Our Pro system allows you to get in and to do some more to access some other products, such as the door kits and things like that. And anyway, and some information. So if you would just put in Fabricio and Kirby, this is just Glenn's already with Control Products. They already have theirs set up. But if you guys want to connect, just send us in the Zoom chat there. Send us your name, your phone number, your address, and your email, and then we can get you guys signed up for the Pro system so that you'll have access to some of these other products we were talking about.
You could also send that in an email if you'd like,
Or send it in
or
an
a
email.
text message, either one, or any three of those.
So if you wouldn't mind doing that, and Kirby, if you wouldn't mind doing that as well, we'll get you guys signed up for access to some of these other products. All right. If there's anything else, or then let us know. Otherwise, we are going to sign out. Fabricio, I think I'll wait for you to send your information there.
Okay.
So if you're going to do it that way, so yeah, we just need name, address of your company, phone number, cell phone number, and email address. Because we'll send a little thing to your cell phone that says, "Did you intend? Is is this really you? Did you ask for this? You know, a verification code. So
I will send an email better.
Okay, that
sounds great, guys. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
All right. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.